Yeah, literally. I mean, I found out about this on my way into work this afternoon, and there are no words. I mean, this is absolutely horrific. This is by far, I think, one of the worst stories we've ever covered here at Fox 2. And I want to warn everybody out there that the details are very disturbing.
If you think about the horrific ads you see on TV to spur donations for animals that have been abused or are living in terrible conditions, multiply that by 10.
A horrible story of abuse and abandonment. Investigators say 3 kids were living in a condo on Lydia Lane in Pontiac for years, alone in horrific conditions.
There was garbage, trash piled 3 and 4 feet high, covered with feces all through the house. It doesn't look like the toilet or the bathtub had been usable or workable for quite some time, primarily because of the feces and trash. I don't think they had basic hygiene knowledge of what to do. They hadn't been given hygiene products for years, toothbrushes, etc.
A 15-year-old boy and 2 girls ages 12 and 13 in the House of Horrors since at least 2021, according to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Their mother or someone else would leave prepared food on the porch once a week.
They had
Wait. Since 2021, is that what they said? 2021, their mother had been doing Meals on Wheels to them. And what the piss is going on with these mothers that's in the Metro Detroit area? First, you had the mother that whose kid died in a car, and of course 2 kids died in the car, and of course we went and found out that the father was out there living his best life with a wildebeest out there in Novi, Michigan. Straight up wildebeest. Caught him kissing a wildebeest inside of a bar or something like that. And he was sitting up there with a Nike Tech and all of that. And so we seen that mother, crying out, but absolutely 100% her whole family was living homeless, and it was negligent in protecting the kids, because the thing that you ultimately have to do is take care of the kids. They didn't have to be here. And now you see this mother, and people are saying that these kids lived since 2021. They didn't go to school. Did they go to school? Let me look at some more of the story, because I'm absolutely disgusted at how these mothers are taking care of these children. And of course, they're going to blame it on the system and all of this other type of stuff. But there is no excuse for this. What you mean the mother was just dropping off meals on the porch covered? What? And this is how, let me say this before we get into the story. This is how people grow up with resentment. And then you got women that'll say, who hurt you? All of this other type of stuff. This is what happens. And it happens to girls. It happens to guys. And these people grow up with all of this trauma and all of these issues and problems. And then you'll sit there and wonder why they are the way that they are. And it's because people should not be having children. There's a demographic of people that absolutely need to be vetted for having children, because the most vulnerable amongst us are the ones that suffer. And the children grow up to have these unresolved traumas and drama and issues in their lives, and you can't figure out why they can't hold on to a relationship. You can't figure out why they're abusive, why they passing on trauma into the next generation. It's because we basically have generational curses that are generated by the mothers and the people that they decide to have children with. It's unfortunate. This should not ever be tolerated in any capacity whatsoever.
Basically been locked in the house without any kind of guidance or basic
prison.
hygiene or any
Prisoners get treated better than this.
kind of education for years.
The kids were discovered Friday. The landlord called police and asked them to do a welfare check because he had not heard from the mother since December.
We went to the house to check on what was going on there, and had no idea that there were kids there, let alone kids in grave situation.
Their 34-year-old mother arrested and being held at the Oakland County Jail. The children taken to an area hospital and are now in the care of a family member.
We showed up at the house. The young boy did have communication with the mom and said the police were there, and she said hide. When we took the kids out of the house, they had difficulty walking because their toenails were so long. They hadn't had any grooming. Incredibly disheveled and unkempt, hair very matted, filthy.
Authorities trying to figure out how this abuse went on for so long without anyone knowing about it.
it's pretty heartbreaking that the kids would have to live under those conditions. People just kind of get in their car and go. Another of my neighbors, we were just talking today, and she said to me, she said, look at all this snow. I don't see anybody out helping each other, shovel each other's snow. So I think people are just kind of just doing their own thing now and just kind of going in their places and closing the doors.
Well, everybody said that they wanted to, everybody should mind your business. Remember that, mind your business and all of this other type of stuff. And nobody has any kind of interconnection with anybody, because not only that, we all enthralled with what goes on these phones and social media. You don't know your neighbors. You don't know the person that lives next to you left. You don't know the person that lives next to you right. I actually know where these complexes are. Well, it's not even a complex. These are individual condominiums that are owned with people. But I know somebody that lives over in those neighborhoods, and those neighborhoods is actually pretty decent. They're really decent neighborhoods. So whatever she was doing and the rent that she was paying must have been sufficient. I'm sure that they got HOA fees, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, everybody is saying mind your business and stay out of the way.
It's still just so incredibly hard to believe that these kids were in this condo for so many years, never seeing the sunlight, never trying to leave. They were apparently spending their time watching TV and playing games, not in school. We know that they had been enrolled in Pontiac schools years ago, but what happened? Why did they fall through the cracks? And it just, I mean, it's mind-boggling that the girls that we talked about, ages 12 and 13, the sheriff says they were sleeping on pizza boxes, old pizza boxes. A lot more to come on this story, but just absolutely heartbreaking. Reporting live, Camille and Mary, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, heartbreaking doesn't even begin to describe it. It's deplorable, it's despicable, it's disgusting, and I think it's really poignant what this woman said at the end of your piece, that people maybe aren't paying attention. Did the sheriff address anything in that realm, that folks need to maybe think a little more about what's happening next door and speak up if they see anything suspicious, so something like this doesn't have to go on for so long?
Yeah, I talked to another neighbor, and she'd only lived there since September, and she said she never heard anything, saw anything, smell anything. Those condos are so close together, but I think that, it makes us pause and just think how busy we all are in our own lives. But maybe we need to think, if we never see anyone coming and going, and maybe if we see, people did see that food being dropped off at that porch, that maybe we need to start asking more questions and start figuring out what's going on if something doesn't seem right. But
Nah, it's not going to change. I think we're going to become more independent instead of interdependent on each other. And again, it's unfortunate because it's nobody's fault but the mother, and the children are the ones that suffer for it. And I just can't imagine, like, since 2021, and I guess you can kind of get away with it because in in 2021 we were in the midst of a pandemic and everybody was in the house. I guarantee you that this mother was probably out here in these streets living her best life. And as long as she was going to get away with it, that's the thing that she was going to rock out with. And then she's going to come back later and say, but I was a good mother. We got to find out what this person actually looks like, because they protecting, for whatever reason, the identity of this mother. I know when you get arrested, that then can become public information. But we got to figure that out. And I don't know how. I don't know how these children keep, falling through the cracks. This is crazy. This is one of the craziest stories, but I guarantee you it's not going to be the craziest story of 2025. I guarantee you it's going to be much worse. There's somebody out there, some people out there that's doing even crazier things. And until we find it, because eventually what all comes to the light, what's done in the dark comes to the light. It's just hidden. Somebody isn't hidden in the crack suffering. Some kid is hidden in the crack suffering. And we got to become our neighbor's keeper to an extent. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I'll deep dive into this a little more, and then hopefully we can have a conversation about this on the Millionaire Morning Show. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.